Hello Sagittarius. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Sagittarius.
Cards that are laid out, and I feel like the next 2 weeks will be kind of like about reclaiming your power and coming into a sense of your own sense of freedom, personal power, self-empowerment, and freedom. So I feel like it's going to be a very, very good 2 weeks for you guys. So let's go into your reading. At the center of the spread, we have the Sun card, and the Sun indicates a lot of success, a lot of financial good news that are coming through. A lot of you, there might be new work on the table for you, or some restructuring, career advancement, getting promotions, getting like a better position, or at least landing a position that you've always wanted. Okay, and this is a situation in which company policies, in which like working in a very big institutional setting, or even like a very structured rigid environment, things are like actually working for you rather than against you. So I definitely feel promotion for a lot of you, a lot of breakthroughs on the career front, falling in love again with your job. I feel like that's the main thing, but I do sense finances being enhanced and increased, which would indicate to me like rather than getting a new job, a lot of you are getting promotion. A lot of you are also in a position of authority, and others are looking at you very, very favorably. What I'm also feeling is I feel like you're flirting with some major change up in your environment. And the way that it is playing out to me is a lot of you are looking at this situation where things are very inefficient, where things are like, rules, procedures, guidelines are very outdated. They're no longer appropriate for what's happening here and now. They're no longer context specific. And a lot of you are just like, in the past, you might have obeyed these rules. And now you are realizing that they're not serving their purpose any longer in this day and age. So I feel like regardless of however old you are, young or old alike, I feel like a lot of you are itching for some change, itching to like dismantle an old outdated way of doing, or like a structure or foundation that is no longer serving its purpose in this present time. So you're eyeing this skeptically, and I feel like on the surface you might say like, oh, I'm a conventional, traditional, conservative person, but on the inside you're like, what are some of the things that I can do to shake things up, to make things more efficient? So I feel like, yes, I don't sense it playing out in an inner conflict. I feel like you're working the system. I feel like you know how to work things, and you know how to like present yourself in a way that people in a position of authority think that you're a conformist. But ideally, and I feel like once the purpose has been reached, once you are in that position of power, you are going to dismantle some things that are inefficient. Okay, so I feel like for the next 2 months, you're still going through the training stages. You might be trying to learn the ins and outs of why certain things have to be implemented in a very specific way. You're trying to figure out like how the pieces all fit together. And so that once you have the big picture, then you will know how to tweak all the little things so that the big picture, looks a lot better. So I feel like you're there to shake things up. You're there to change things. You're there to dismantle something that has been really problematic, that has been very like, I almost feel like rigid. You're looking at somebody even. So if it's not playing out in a work environment, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's really rigid. They're fixed in their ways. They're very stubborn, and I feel like you get a kick out of being I guess like introducing another viewpoint or picking a fight with this other person. So I feel like there's this energy here where you might want to be a little bit careful. If it's a specific person, don't push them to the corner. You know, like don't like, for you it might be all fun and game, but keep in mind that with the other person, it is a belief system that they were indoctrinated with, that they were assimilated in, or they grew up in. So it's like a whole belief system, and a belief system, when it's dismantled overnight, the other person will lose their bearing and they won't know what to do. So I feel like, yes, it's okay for you to, like, express your ideas and express, in moderation, why you feel some things need to change. But I feel like if you're just like, I feel like messing with the other person to get them to see that their point of views are outdated. It's important for you not to push them in the corner, because I feel like when they are cornered, they can lash out, because I feel like you're dealing with someone who's very stubborn, very fixed in their ways, and they're not going to change. Okay. They're also, it seems to me, like a nonconformist as well. So they're unpredictable, is what I'm feeling. They're just unpredictable. So don't try to push a specific agenda onto a specific person, okay? If it's like an institution that you feel should be streamlined or should be run a little bit better, that's fine. And that's where you should devote your energies, but not towards fixing a specific individual, because I feel like it's a lost cause, okay? If it's a specific individual, because they are very fixed, and it's not your place to tell someone else how to live their life. Just let them figure things out on their own, okay? So the other thing I'm feeling here is your financial situation. There might have been, for the past few months, fluctuation. So like not knowing, not having a firm footing, not knowing where you stand, not knowing if this amount of money is going to come through, or a smaller amount is going to come through. So I feel like you were in this ebb and flow when it comes to your financial situation for the past 2 months. I do feel some things are getting solidified for the next 2 weeks that will allow you to know on a consistent, regular basis how much money is coming in and how much money is leaving your hands. So I definitely feel some stability, something being decided upon from an institutional capacity, so that your financial situation becomes, stable. And that means knowing from 1 month to the next how much money you have and how much you have to spend. So I feel like that's always a good thing when we can, plan for the future, right? Like when things are consistent enough where we can start planning. So I feel like that's what's happening. You're planning for the future, and you're doing so in a very optimistic way, which indicates to me the financial situation is going to stabilize, and it's going to solidify, so that you know how much money you're making. On the relationship front, I definitely feel some very, very strong energies of, attraction, feeling good again, feeling like, feeling really happy. First of all, I feel for those of you who are single, you are attracting a lot of people, and we have you showing up as the Nine of Pentacles, which is a very, very beautiful. I call it the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. It's like the person that has, a lot of financial stability. They have a lot of blessings in their life. They want love, but they're not like desperately seeking it. Okay, so it's a really good space to be happy on your own, to be like content being on your own. So I feel like a lot of you are, because you're like this, you're attracting a lot of people. And I definitely feel like for a lot of you, you're in a position where you are picking and choosing between who you deal with, who you can devote your time to. And I feel some people around you are actually vying for your attention. Okay, so I sense that coming through heavily, and I'm picking up all signs, but I do feel other fire signs are putting, entering the race. I feel. So that's the first thing. You're exuding a very, very positive, optimistic, self-reliant, confident energy, and a lot of people are interested in you. The other thing that's on the table here is, I feel like if you are dealing with children, okay, and this is an earth sign specifically, it can be all children, but specifically if you're dealing with an earth sign, okay? So earth signs are Taurus, Virgos, and Capricorns. And what I'm sensing with this person is that there's going to be some communication. And I feel like your involvement with this person in the past has not been entirely positive. And, it takes two to tango. I feel like you're just not compatible with one another. That's just the bottom line. I definitely feel that the love is there. The love is there. And I feel like this person knows what they're doing. They're very intelligent. They're good problem solvers. They're very stubborn, very, very stubborn. And I feel like you yourself, you're quite stubborn. You're a fire sign. You have the things that you believe in. So I feel like the other person is just as stubborn, and they know what they're doing. So I feel like you're dealing with someone, like a child, who your child or somebody else's child. And I feel like there is this significant age gap. Okay, so I just want to say that the things that you believe in is so the other person could be a lot younger than you, or you could be a lot younger than another person, and you're trying to put yourself in their shoes, and you don't understand why they do the things that they do. They likewise don't understand why you do the things that you do. But I feel like their energy is very live and let live, right? And I feel like as a Sagittarius, you're supposed to be very live and let live, because you're ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Jupiter deals with like philosophical expansion. So you're very like accepting of other people. If you have a lot of earth in your chart, if you have a lot of water in your chart, I feel like it can also affect your ability to like what I mean is like if you have more earth and water, you tend to be a little bit more conservative as well. So if you're like a Sagittarius with an earth sign, earth moon, or like a water moon, or water rising, or an earth rising, it can, alter your personality in a way where you're just like, no, let's do it this way. So you might be a little bit more traditional, you might be a little bit more conservative, and you might want to impose your beliefs on others, because I feel like the Sagittarius energy deals with, it's also like a very, very religious, spiritual based sign as well. So one of the things you want to be careful about is I feel accepting people for who they are, okay? And even though you might not do this specific thing, and you might not understand why would someone do that, well, they're living their lives, and they're managing the best that they can. So I feel like giving somebody a little bit more of a leeway, putting yourself in their shoes, and even like admitting to yourself, I can't wrap my head around why somebody is doing this, why someone would do this, and then just leaving it the way it is. People are who they are. They will do whatever they think is right for their own survival. And that's all. Sometimes, like, we just have to accept that fact. Okay, we might not understand it, but sometimes we do have to accept it for what it is. So what I'm feeling here is there's this sense of like, when dealing with children specifically, okay, I do feel like some of you, there is an earth sign in your midst, and there's a lot of love here, but you don't really agree with their lifestyle. They likewise don't agree with your lifestyle. So two people are at a stalemate, and I feel like they're turning their back. They're looking somewhere else. They're going to do whatever they want to do, and that's just the way that things are going to be. And I feel like a lot of you don't really have a choice. You're gonna have to accept things with this person as it is, and this is an earth sign here, so you're just gonna have to accept it at face value, and you're just gonna have to accept that they are gonna continue on their own path, and you can't really divert or even change them. Okay, and you also have to understand the fact that they have never tried to change you, right? So if that sounds familiar at all, I feel like, this stalemate can be breached, just agreeing to disagree and then moving on. And, it doesn't make you love the other person any less. It doesn't make them love you any less. But in the process of trying to control anything when it comes to another person, that's when the other person can feel like you're not accepting them as they are, and they can over time withhold or withdraw their love and affection. Okay, so just something to keep an eye out for. In the process of dealing with another person that is very different from us, we need to be we need to just accept them the way that they are, okay? If that's not enough for you, like if that's not something that you can do, then you have to let them go, because we're not here to change other people, okay? We're here to live our lives, and that is the extent of control we have over ourselves and our environment, I guess. What else is coming through, I'm feeling, is that I feel like for a lot of you, you might be in a situation where you are shifting from self-employment to like getting either a part-time or a full-time 9 to 5 job. So a lot of you are you might like be self-employed, things are going well, but you're just like, no, I really want to interact with other people. So you might be returning to the workforce, working part-time or full-time, and then managing your self-employment gig on the side. And I feel like a lot of money will be coming through for you. So I see a lot of success in the picture for you. So you might just want to work in a structural setting, part-time or whatever, just to get some type of pension or some type of health benefits and things like that. So I feel like it's a lot of strategic long-term planning on your end, and you're thinking ahead, okay? So I feel there's a lot of success in that manner. Others of you, you might be out. I feel like you might be just out and about trying to secure a stable future, and I don't feel it's a financial stability issue. I feel like you're trying to procure employment opportunities, and I feel a few options will be available to you, possibly two, where you might be like, okay, can I realistically do them both? Maybe I can. So I even feel you flirting with the idea that I can work two jobs, one is in the daytime, one is at night. Or you can even like, rather than finding one main job, because I feel like that might not have worked out for you in the past. So you might pick like two part-time jobs and then making ends meet that way. And I feel like that's a very lucrative way to make money, because I feel like you would be working more and you would be also earning a lot more. So I feel you also flirting with that idea, and that's perfectly fine. What else I'm also seeing is if you've had any health issues, okay? So this is like, I feel specifically when it comes to ankles, when it comes to hands and spine. Okay, so spine, ankles, and hands. If you've had any type of health issues, I definitely feel something clearing up, things improving for the better, a diet, exercise regimen that is being incorporated in your life, in your daily routine. I also feel like some braces, okay? Not teeth, not dental braces, but I feel like if you worked like doing like a manual labor, where you had to lift a lot of heavy things, and if you've been having like spinal back problems, I feel like you might be fitted for like a torso brace, a back brace, or something like that with your arms, your feet, or with your lower back, so that you can lift heavier objects. If that is something like, if the back, or some type of certain parts of the body is like creating problems, like if it's seems a little bit painful, then you might want to just go to the doctor and ask if you can be fitted for a brace. I feel like that's going to alleviate the situation, and it's going to prevent further wear and tear on that part of the body, okay? So think of it as a preventative solution, a preventative investment that you need to do for your own health, so that certain areas of your body that has undergone a lot of stress and strain can be strengthened up, or can be like prevented from further wear and tear. I hope that makes sense. So look into those areas, okay? For others of you, I feel like on the relationship front, things are going really well for a lot of you, especially if you are newly single, out and dating. You are seen in a very positive light, and I feel like some people